The fact of the matter is that the Satanic Temple is actually nothing more than a group of pranksters who go around and take advantage of gullible people around the country trying to raise funds and promote the profane. And that's what they've done. The person that leads the group uses a fake name, and he has a history of this. Now, under the First Amendment, everyone has a right to free speech, and we respect that. Even people that disagree, I'm open for that. But also, we have the freedom of speech, I personally as an individual, and also the people of Arkansas, to say that we disagree with your profane statements and your false claims against the people of Arkansas and the attack, and really a war on the Ten Commandments.
Senator Rapert will tell you that our monument is an attack upon Christianity. But then Senator Rapert also once described a gay pride parade as one of the most offensive displays against Christians in an attempt to intimidate people who believe in the Word of God. These are not the words of a man with the maturity of mind to act with the sense of detached jurisprudence befitting of a public office holder. Senator Rapert will tell you that his Ten Commandments monument is not a religious monument, rather it is a monument celebrating the heritage and history of American law. If he were to make this claim in earnest, it would indicate that he is as unqualified to hold the title of minister as he is to hold the office of senator. To be sure, the senator reduces the Decalogue from the sacred to the historical in an attempt to shield it from claims of religious preference and litigation. However, it is a dishonest move that is an insult to both the Ten Commandments and American history and heritage.
Well, the Supreme Court's been very clear. The standing precedent, the 2005 Texas case, Van Orden versus Perry, was an attack on the Texas Ten Commandments monument, which is very similar to the situation we have here. We have several monuments here at the Arkansas State Capitol, including the Little Rock Nine. If you go down there, you're going to see Christian verses at the Little Rock Nine. You're going to see the Liberty Bell, which has Leviticus on that. You're going to look at the state seal in Arkansas, which has the Angel of Mercy on that. And so what these people are doing are attacking some of the Judeo-Christian history and heritage of the country. But on the law, the Van Orden versus Perry case said that yes, the state of Texas has a right to put up the Ten Commandments monument. And they even laid out in the case itself, the Chief Justice made reference to the Ten Commandments that's on the lower left and lower right of the doors entering the Supreme Court chamber in Washington, D.C. I was there just a few days ago. I went in, I looked at those Ten Commandments, I took a picture of them, and then just above the head of the Chief Justice is Moses himself. So the bottom line is the U.S. Supreme Court displays the Ten Commandments. The state of Texas displays the Ten Commandments. I've personally been to the Ten Commandments monument in Colorado and in Arizona, and I'm told Missouri has the very same. If the Ten Commandments display is good enough for all of those other state capitals and the United States Supreme Court, sir, it's good enough for the people of Arkansas, and we will defend the law.
Senator Rapert will tell you that the placement of his monument on the Capitol grounds is, in part, justified by images of the Ten Commandments on display within the Supreme Court of the United States. What the senator fails to mention is that the Decalogue is nowhere listed inside the Supreme Court, and representations of a stone tablet whereupon are inscribed the Roman numerals 1 through 10, often mistaken as representative of the Ten Commandments, were in fact described by the artist as representative of the Articles of the Bill of Rights. Where Moses is represented within the court, he is depicted alongside many great lawgivers of history, including Hammurabi, Napoleon, Confucius, and Muhammad, to name but a few. Nor is Moses central among them. It is in the spirit of pluralism and government viewpoint neutrality that above the steps of the Supreme Court, the words "equal justice under law" are boldly displayed. In fact, the Supreme Court has consistently upheld that where religious public expressions are allowed for some, it must be allowed for all. Senator Rapert will tell you that a United States Supreme Court decision from 2005, Van Orden versus Perry, which allowed for a contested Ten Commandments monument to remain on public grounds in Austin, Texas, justifies the exclusive placement of his Ten Commandments monument here on Little Rock Capitol grounds. What the senator fails to mention is that on the same day as that decision was handed down, the Supreme Court ruled against two standalone Ten Commandments monuments, only preserving the one in Austin on the grounds that it was a 40-year-old landmark and, importantly, that it was displayed alongside a number of other monuments with no evidence of viewpoint discrimination. In denying other monuments of religious significance in Little Rock, the state can no longer claim Van Orden versus Perry as justification for the Ten Commandments monument, and in fact, the precedent supports our claim that the state is obligated to accept Baphomet at the Capitol grounds.
Is there any point of compromise either with the plaintiffs in the ACLU case or with the Satanic Temple? Is there any point of compromise that you could envision on this issue?
Here's a very simple point for people to remember. The United States Supreme Court ruled in 2009 in the case of Pleasant Grove City versus Summum, that's spelled S-U-M-M-U-M. It was a group much like the Satanic Temple that said they were going to force a city who had a Ten Commandments monument to put up a monument that they chose. The Supreme Court said that you cannot force a city, a state, a government entity to put up a monument. You can't force them to do that. So the fact of the matter is, in Arkansas, Act 1231 was duly passed by an overwhelming majority of Arkansas legislators. It was signed into law by Governor Asa Hutchinson. We even had open and public hearings for the Secretary of State and the Capitol Grounds Commission, and even allowed these outside extremists to come in, make a presentation on their profane symbol that they want to put up, and offer to them. They can make application. They did so. At that time, it included that they find a sponsor for a bill to sponsor their monument. That's the way the process was at the time. And they were unable to do that. They sent letters to legislators asking them to help them. We don't have to help them do something that is offensive to the people of the state of Arkansas. And therefore, what they're doing now is, since they didn't get their way, they're making false claims. They're coming into our state to upset people, and it's simply to create a chaos.
To be clear, when the public grounds are open to private donations from one religious viewpoint, the public grounds are open to private donations from any religious viewpoint. This is what religious liberty means. You may be uncomfortable with Satanists on the Capitol grounds, but it was Senator Rapert who, by his efforts to open the Capitol to religious monuments, tacitly invited us here. To be clear, the Ten Commandments monuments standing on the Capitol grounds to the exclusion of other privately donated monuments of religious significance is illegal. According to the Arkansas State Constitution, no preference shall ever be given by law to any religious establishment, denomination, or mode of worship above any other. The binary elements of the Baphomet, the animal and the human, the gesture above, the gesture below, pentagrams both inverted and upright, all signifies that which is embodied in the central caduceus, reconciliation and negotiation. Baphomet, on the same grounds as the Ten Commandments, does not represent a conflict, but a resolution. Baphomet would legalize the Ten Commandments and uphold First Amendment principles. A failure to accept Baphomet will surely result in a legal ruling demanding the Ten Commandments monument be taken down.
Let me say this, that based upon the U.S. Supreme Court decision in Pleasant Grove City versus Summum, it will be a very cold day in hell before we are ever forced to put up a permanent monument on the state capitol grounds that's as offensive as this group that hides behind fake names as they travel the country.